Hi everyone, I'm the Scottish Scrapper and you have tuned in to Scrapping Scotland. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, welcome along guys. If you're a scrapper yourself, good to have you here. If you just like watching scrapping videos, it's great to have you here as well. Do me a favour guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And if you like the video, then please give it that thumbs up, that really helps the channel out a lot. Today we are in the shed and we are going to scrap out a game console. Done some game consoles in the past, seen some other scrappers do some game consoles, and some of them have been a little bit of a waste of time because there's not a lot in them. Well, certainly some of them there's not a lot. Have watched a couple of videos on Wii's, these small kind of consoles, and there's not a lot in them. I've scrapped out Xbox Ones, decent boards in them I have to say, but today we're going to scrap out a PlayStation. So it's the old type PlayStation, not PlayStation 1, not the original one, but the PS2. Okay, now, I had one of these consoles myself, but it wasn't this one I had. I actually had the small slimline version of this, which was the kind of second generation PS2. But this is an original one. I'm not sure if it works or not, to be honest. I did have everything else with it, but I'm going to scrap it out anyway. I'm not really too interested in it. I did see I had a label on the front of it, which actually I've torn a little bit. But it was from one of these cash converter places. And this sold from cash converters at £15. So there's not a great deal of money in it. I'm sure if it still worked, somebody would possibly buy it. But I can't make a video if I'm going to sell it. So we're going to scrap it, guys. So what do we need to do to scrap it? Well, I'm going to have to locate the screws because as you can see on the back of it, they're all covered. We can get them off and we can find the screw holes and we can get to taking this apart. Okay. As you can see on the back of it, does have what they call an expansion bay. I don't know if you can, yeah, there you go, expansion bay. Well, I can just pull that off and it's more like a garage. Or a garage, or if you're from America or the UK, garage or garage, for a nice little disk drive or something else that goes in there, but there's nothing being expanded into that area, so it's just a hole at the moment. Okay, so let's get to scrapping this one out, guys. So first of all, we're going to get these things removed so we can get into it. I'll use my trusty little kit as it's got nice little straight flat bits. I can just get under them and get them off. So just little rubber covers. Those covers this side were plastic and I had to break through them, but it was nice and easy. That on initial inspection looks like it reveals all the screws. Screws are easy enough to take out, they're not deep set, so we'll just use the drill. Now we've got the screws out, we'll just wedge this out. Now, what it seems to be doing rather than lifting off nice and easy, it's actually breaking the plastic a little bit. so we can help with that.
Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
And that, my friends, is the quickest way to break open a PS2. So I have a disk drive, as you can see. Now, instead of processing this in the moment, I actually have a box of disk drives way over at the back of the shed, and I'll stick that in there with them, and we can process that when we're processing the rest of our disk drives. There is a disc still in there, so there is a game still inside. But we'll discover what that is another day. Okay, disk drive taken care of. Now we're going to start taking the board off the back, take the metal pieces off. Looks like a couple of aluminium heat sinks here as well. We'll just start taking things apart and we'll see what we've got. Okay, so screw-wise, let's get the board off first. So here's our board. We've got a couple of copper reels here, got a little transformer here, I've got a little copper reel here as well, and then we've got two aluminium heat sinks that are attached to our little transistors that are in here, and a little fuse there as well. So not a great deal on that board, guys, but it's a little board, there's a little bit of copper there, so we will take those pieces off and we will take that copper. Shred metal. We broke the fan when we were smashing it with the hammer. As you can see, there's a little DC motor in there. Okay, we'll clean that up, just take the plastic off like that. I can just stack that in with the DC motors as it is. Or just goes in the electrical motor pile essentially. You can of course take the copper out of these if you've got the patience to do so. I do have a video about extracting the copper from small DC motors. I tend nowadays just to put them in the pile unless they're of a decent enough size that the copper's worth taking. That's going to take a bit of time for very, very little copper. Okay, so a closer look here. All these little screws are very small. Not going to be able to get to them with the drill. So that's when our handy dandy little screw set comes in play. So I've got a nice little bit that fits. So what I'll do now is I can actually take this piece out. Okay, so as I say, it's got a little release button, and we can take the main piece out. Stick that into a drill. Okay, so there's our top plate off. As you can see, there's a couple of aluminium heat sinks on the top, and possibly aluminium on the bottom, and little brass pieces there as well. So we can try and get all of them off. Let's have a look. So we'll try and get the brass pieces off first. And they are not magnetic, so they are brass. And as you can see, they're really easy to get off. Now we'll try and get these bottom aluminium pieces off. What I'm assuming is aluminium. We'll have little fold over clips that we're just trying to push back. So you can see these two clips here. Two clips here, two clips here, and we're just trying to remove them, push them back so we can lift it out. Once we do that, I think these are going to be attached to these pieces and we'll just be able to push it through. Okay, it was a little bit fiddly, but we got those little bits off. Now we need to try and pry these out so they don't just readily fall out, so we'll try and pry them now. So, before we do that, we'll just show you the main board. So, got a little IC chip here, this is where our gold is. IC chip here. As you can see in the battery, the connectors are actually gold plated as well. Another IC chip here, little chips here and here. On the back again we have more IC chips. And this is where you're going to get all your gold from, guys. There is some pins in here that have little gold plated ends, but they're not fully gold plated, just the ends. Apart from that, not a lot. There's some MLCCs on there. Again, not a great deal, not a massively great board. But yeah, board all the same. Little ribbon, tin plated ends. They're not silver. Some people do put them in their insulated wire. If they contain copper wire within them, I just put them in a bin if I'm honest. Okay, so there's our second board. More of a tin shred. And then we've got these two sinks that we need to get out. So as I say, we'll try and pry them out, might be the best way to do it. Okay, it's not a great deal of effort there, and we've got our first aluminium heatsink recovered. Again, not a great deal of effort. Second aluminium heatsink recovered. And then we have our next piece of shred. We're just going to check this because it could be stainless steel. Magnet sticks. Magnet doesn't stink. Magnet sticks. So it's not stainless steel. It's shred steel. And then we've got this last little piece, and this is the piece where the joysticks plug into. Again, there will be little gold pieces on the end of these little plugs here, but they're going to be very tiny and they're going to be at the very end. It's not the whole pin that's gold plated, okay? So what we'll do is we'll remove this metal outer casing and see what the little board is like underneath to see if that's got anything on it. Nice and easy to remove that outer casing. And then keeping this board in is a pin here, here, here and here. So we should just be able to get our snips and cut through them. So this one is visible first. Okay, now I've actually got sight of that. I can see that this whole row here is all connecting it to the metal piece as well. So see what we can do with that. Let's take the ribbon off first and see if we can get into this in an easier way. So maybe best approach okay, there's our plastic waste, and there's the connectors that you plug in your joystick into these little pins. Okay, now looking at them, they're definitely not gold plated. If we look at the ones this side, these pins here, the very tops of them, these little bits right here, they are gold plated, but it's very, very small. There's not a lot of gold plating there at all. Very, very tiny little bit. It's just the bit that actually hits the connection. So not a lot there. I'd be probably wasting my time trying to recover the gold from that, to be honest. Some people would. I wouldn't. Okay, so I'm just going to put that in shred. And that is as quick as that, guys. That's how quick you can tear down a PS2. Now what we'll do is we'll measure our different components. Or should I say we'll weigh them. So shred steel is 562.5 grams. That's not including screws and things like that, as that will be very little amount of shred steel. Secondly, we'll measure our aluminium heat sinks. Those are 110 grams. And then we'll measure our little pieces of brass. And those weigh 5.2 grams. Finally, we have our boards. And if you took your boards in to Board Sort or anything in the US or AWA Recycling near London, in England, then you can get board prices. Usually you have to take off the aluminium. Most people would also take off the copper. But let's have a look. And those two boards weigh together 392.6 grams. As I say, you know, I will take this apart. I will take off these copper reels. I will take off the little aluminium heat sinks, and I'll take off these little transistors as well. Call these MOSFETs. I will take them off as well. The aluminium capacitors, I don't do anything with. People can take them off and put them in dirty aluminium. You need an awful lot of them to weigh anything. The bigger ones I actually do take apart. You get some really big ones, you know, ones like that size, and they're like clean aluminium juice cans, pop cans, fizzy drinks cans, whatever you want. So they can add up if you've got lots and lots of them and they are big enough, but little ones like that, waste of time. Okay. And that's it for that teardown, guys. That was a teardown of the Sony PlayStation PS2. Nice and quick. A little bit of aluminium, a little bit of shred steel, a couple of little boards with a little bit of copper on them, a couple of MOSFETs, a couple of heat sinks. Now obviously if I took the aluminium off of those boards, then our aluminium would weigh a little bit more. But, you know, as I say, we've got a couple of nice little heat sinks there as well. And we even got a little tiny little bit of brass just as a little bit of a bonus. And we love a bonus. Okay, so that was that, guys. You know, not everything takes a long time to tear down. That was nice and quick. Hope you enjoyed that one. If you did, as I said at the start, guys, give it that thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And to everyone supporting the channel, thank you very much. Appreciate all your support. Have a great day, guys, and we'll see you on the next teardown on Scrapping Scotland. Bye now.